Well, what's up? How you doing?
Crack-a-lacky.
Yes, sir.
Shake my hand like we're in 1999.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? My name is Willis Raburu, media owner, media personality, CEO of Wabebe XP, and we're about to have a good time.
Which country would you want to, if I gave you, there's like over many countries.
Okay, yes.
There's many countries, right? But I'm sure there are countries which you've never thought about. Like, if I gave you a free trip, would you go to, say, Russia?
Russia? Well. Wow. Russia? I don't know if I'd go to, as what? Well, I'm just going to see.
A trip, man. Just a trip. Like, bro, it's a free trip. I'm paying everything, VIP, hotels, nini, wawa.
I go to Russia.
First place tunaingia ni St. Petersburg.
Well, just... maybe just to see, but not like I wouldn't be like let's go. Like I wouldn't be jumping into it unless it's just like to tick a box. Like I was in Russia, I was in Paris, I saw this, I saw St. Petersburg, but
you had to bring Paris into Russia. Let me ask you.
Saying.
I have a question.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Because of what I've seen, for example, happen with Russia, Ukraine, and all this. So what the geopolitics of it all. That is why my perspective about countries in general have changed, because then would going mean I'm supporting what they're doing, being in the spaces where I'm at. That's now you have to think about those things now. That's why I would be like, I don't know.
That's so interesting you say that. We had this conversation. Check out the episode with Shiro Morioki if you haven't, because we addressed this and I asked her about Russia. And part of the reason is because, have you ever watched any Russian TV?
No.
Ukraine TV?
No.
Okay.
Have I watched? No, I'm not. All right, I mean, like, apart from what I see on the news.
Which news?
All the news, the way they. This is what I do.
Where's the news from?
So this is what I normally try to do. Apart from their actual, I don't know what their KBC, the name of their KBC, because they speak Russian. But I normally try to see how different news outlets are reporting the story to see sort of a balance, because I know news outlets have their balance.
Biases.
I personally believe the phrase independent media has to be put this way. So for me, I have to see how Al Jazeera, CNN, Sky, BBC, how are these people talking, MSNBC, Fox, how all these people are reporting this thing. So that then I can say, okay, this could be a common thread in all of them. So maybe this is the basis. Yeah, but that's it.
I've never not Russian TV, or even a country that's next to Russia.
No.
But all the outlets you've mentioned are, except one, all American.
Right, yeah. Or have bases in America, yeah.
Watching about Russia. So is it possible that your opinion has been formed?
It is possible.
Yeah, because
imagine it is possible. Come to think
about it. Every man, like if you wanted to know about Kenya,
that's actually why.
Imagine someone from Georgia telling you, like, I know exactly what's going on in Kenya. I watch CNN.
Actually, that's
instead of
very valid point.
If TZ, like for example, the world probably knew more about what was going on in TZ from Kenyans.
That's true. Yeah.
And then CNN was even now asking, give us some of the footage that you have. Yeah. And knowing that a lot of the TZians didn't have access, Kenya was doing the work of amplifying, right? Mm-hmm. So imagine, is it possible we don't even actually know anything about Russia?
You actually could be right. I think you are. Because, come to think of it, if you put it in the kind of context, I would really, if somebody's telling me that I know news based on what I've seen on CNN, and I haven't taken time, for example, to scheme like the 5 stations that we have, actually
like
that makes sense.
People think Russians are like Caucasian white.
Yeah.
But there's like there's even a Russian who looks Chinese. And they're not from China. The country's huge. Mongolia, so the reason why we're talking about this is, even if you look at, say, for example, and you mentioned that the reason I wouldn't go to this country is because of the things that they're doing.
The things that
Would you go to the US?
Well, I've been to the US first because I have family there, but
would you go?
Would I go to the US?
Yeah.
Just because my family is there.
I mean, do you read history?
A bit.
Like, for example, like if you look at how Africa's, you know, when we were just getting liberated from colonialism, right? The role of America from history books, you know, you hear what CIA was doing, you know?
To the key African leaders, even, at the time.
What has Russia done?
That we know?
Exactly. So the reason, and I'm not trying to put you in a box.
No, it's true, because I'm actually learning about it. I think I'll have to go, because I don't even know what the national broadcaster of Russia is.
Oh, like it's crazy.
Or US, we know PBS, but even that is
because we're
funded.
English speakers.
Because we're English speakers,
exactly. If you go to, there was an imam in the States who was talking about this issue in Sudan, and he was basically telling his congregation, Musiende Dubai. I've paraphrased, of course he wasn't saying that, but he was saying, easy because UAE, no, forget it. And of course, because the big issue what's happening in Sudan. And then, but in the comment section is where it gets interesting. Guys are like, exactly, because he's saying don't go to UAE because of the crimes in Sudan. The alleged crimes have not been confirmed, but alleged crimes, right? So of course that's where it gets dicey, right? You see, we spoke about, you said, I don't want to go to Russia because of what they're doing in Ukraine. And I said, would you go to the States? And he's in the States saying, don't go to UAE. And guys, of course, are like, in the glass house, right? It's a very interesting and dicey space. It's a dicey thing right now because a lot of countries are doing wild stuff. And
their presidents, people normally say, even US are shocked at what's going on with their president. Like, oh my God, how could he do this thing to us? We thought he was going to solve everything. Well,
the funniest thing I heard from this shutdown of the US government.
Right.
The army, the soldiers who were in the Netherlands, they were told to go and look for food in the food banks.
During the shutdown?
Yes.
When, what's it called, SNAP?
And mutafute chakula kwa food banks.
Now can line up.
Bro, like, guys don't understand how hectic this is. The country that feeds the rest of the world was having to be fed.
Shut down things, even programs, even in Kenya, because of we're not, we are saving money. And here they are. Actually, it's true. Come to think about it, and I think that's what the world is slowly awakening to. I think a lot of people are now challenging systems, and we like to use the word systems loosely, but really it's just people, because there are people. The system can't exist. It's not. The systems are not, for lack of a better word, AI generated. They are run by people. So I think what is shocking a lot of people and leaders in the world now is that people are actually like, why? I mean, how are you questioning me? How what is the basis of this? And people are now more, even recently, the fact that which I think should happen, like there are people who are petitioning that the Constitution should be taught in schools now, from primary, basically, so that by the time you have the people shall, you have it embedded inside. And I think it's a good thing, because then, like they say, knowledge is power. People have been operating in a vacuum because they say that wouldn't happen to me, but now it's coming closer and closer and closer. Then we are shedding off. We are millennials. Our parents were weaning off of colonialism. So we still have a semblance of if somebody speaks directly to power, we'll be like, but then okay, go ahead and do it. Then there's the Gen Z, then there's Gen Alpha. So what's happening is that people are now the revolution, as it were, is the revolution of the mind. Where even, I see it with my own kids, they ask you questions that you're like, what? So people are now like, okay, so why? The question why. We never used to ask why. Why are we fighting? Okay? It's because you said something bad against me. All right, cool. But now we are in the context of, okay, who told you I said something bad about you? So then you realize that there's a country that has interests here. Then, okay, so what interests do they have? Then, if they have this interest here, so much so they're willing to fund a war, escalate things, what if we took these things for ourselves because it is zetu. Sahi hata tunasikia tuko na gold Kakamega.
Now to tell you your story. In fact, on that note, you said about questioning authority.
Right.
Bruh. Unaweza imagine MC ana embarrass president. Hey, run the tape.
Siku hiyo uliambia watu wangu ukichakuliwa na nichakuliwe utawajengea bridge ya muone. Ukasema the same time ukichaguliwa nikichaguliwa watu wangu wote watapata title deed. Ukasema ukichaguliwa wewe ndio unajua mambo ya stima, kila mboma ya hapo Nguu itakuwa na stima. Hiyo stima imeanza lakini naenda polepole.
Huyu mtu anafikiriaje?
I think so that's why nakwambia.
Baka unaambia president atile barabara. Able first, let's clap for that. Well, yeah, and take note. That's how you should do it.
Yeah, and you see again, I don't think it's questioning. It's just saying, hey, you said this and you're supposed to deliver this. And if you look at that now from a communication standpoint, if you look at what how the president addressed the issue, he talked, hey, wewe chukua hiyo kitu, hiyo pesa weka pale, sort hiyo kitu, wewe ulifanya hivi na hivi, and then he goes, lakini wewe unanipatia amri mbele ya watu. Then he realizes, that I shouldn't have said that. Then he goes, but anyway, that is bottom up. You know, watu wa chini wana question watu wa juu. Si tulikuwa nafanya hivyo June 25th. What happened to that?
I feel like it's so crazy for me and that's what the veil, the facade is. But I think also we're in the mix of a new world order. Because I think that with technology and with AI, I always emphasize that Netanyahu himself mentioned that the biggest purchase of 2026, that the most fundamental, the most impactful will be the purchase of TikTok. Why? Because, and I spoke about this on another episode, that the constituency that is the online community, right? In another episode, I showed guys how this kid, imagine you have a baby, right? And the baby ameanza baby talk, right? But then you're listening to this baby talk and you're like, this baby talk is too legit. Too legit to quit. Kumbe mtu anaongea Japanese. Na hajaongea bado. Baby talk yake ni Japanese because I watch Japanese content, right? So this baby and the next door neighbor's baby who's just watching, I don't know, something local, they're in different worlds. Right. This kid is more connected to another kid in another part of the world who's also watching this content. So the algorithm is creating new constituents that your local on ground cannot be able to handle. You can understand, like, for example, the Gen Z movement. Right. Bro, they abducted guys. Who is in charge? Because this is an online constituency that is borderless, right? It becomes a nuisance.
And you know, it becomes a new world. It could be a pseudonym.
You get?
Hence cybercrime
thing. In fact, on that note, let's cross over to Nigeria. Panandege. Put on your seatbelts. Remember to save yourself only. Tumefika Nigeria. Ding dong. Abeg, can you sit down?
You wonder the problem that you come in and the answer.
The plane has not even stopped and you're already asking the pilot, open the door. What's in the happen? Anyway,
are we landing?
We're already landed. We're on the ground now. Anyway, so in Nigeria, right, this week, no, let me not say this week, last week, right, there was an incident. You're talking about removing the veil, right? So I don't know how much, do you watch Nigerian news?
No,
great. So I'm your African connect,
right?
Thank
you very much. Let's go.
So in Nigeria, ni mnajuanga tu sale Wizkid na trend. Davido has done this. But the local news you're part so it just feeds into this what we're talking about. So in Nigeria, there is a police army soldier who's become national news. No job national can be able to dress properly and just be rada. Unaweza kwa international news. Right? 1 minute honestly, like make sure you that day you've worn underwear. You know what I'm saying?
My mom used to tell me.
Unaweza trend. No, yeah, under ni muhimu. Unaweza faint towel.
And that's exactly what my mom used to say.
You know siku yenye umevele ngore yenye metaruka. All mothers used to tell people the same thing.
They used to tell lazima make sure umevaa kwa sababu wewe jua kitu kinaweza fanyika.
For real. So you can trend, you can be international news. So we're talking about I don't know, I think he's a sergeant. I don't know much about army ranks, but I think he's a 3-star general, whatever. I don't know. But he is a soldier. Now he was put somewhere to manage, to secure a property. But then, ACS, I think FCT, came through and is like, of course this is Africa. I better move now. The guy stood kidete.
Allah.
Looked at the guy and said, I'm just following orders. Right? This is where I say, run the tape.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Order matters. I'm an offside. Take to order.
So what? You had a who? than me.
So I'm an officer. I take to orders.
So that you take illegal orders.
Mr. General.
Okay.
You can't say no. That means
you can never develop this property. I will not allow it.
No problem, sir.
I'm
only acting on my orders.
If you want to kill everybody, kill everybody.
We will not kill
you
anybody.
Cannot.
Sir. We will not. We will not kill anybody, sir.
You put yourself in trouble.
We will not.
My friend, you see,
what is that? You cannot shut me off. You cannot shut me off.
So basically, the guy is there. He's looking at the guy, and the guy's like, "What's it? And the guy's just like, "Sir, I'm just following orders." And so now, you know, Paka in Parliament, they're saluting the guy, right? Because he stood the ground on this particular guy who's called Wike, right? He's one of those guys, like, even if he walks into your house and tells you, "Get out, I want to shag your wife," you just get out.
I beg, what time, how long will you give me a star?
Right?
Yeah.
So now we've watched the There you have it. Say his name, Yerima. If you want to know, Africans are changing the world slowly. Like, we're changing our system slowly.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who, unajua, unafikiri Kenya anaweza fanya kitu. Imagine, who? Give me a CS.
A CS, Murkomen.
Okay. Lakini Murkomen. Does he command respect? Please tell me a CS who you feel at the moment commands respect. You know, like the way Matiang'i used to walk into a space.
Respect.
Matiang'i alikuwa anaenda place.
Well, yes. Yeah. Matiang'i used to have that kind of aura.
Which ministers back in the day, Saitoti walks into a place.
Right, Mishuki.
Anasema kwanza Mishuki hata ukisikia sauti yake kwa radio unafunga seatbelt kwa living room. Una watch news paka unafanya tu yani. If you rattle.
Yes. Yeah.
Sai.
Now you see, if you put it that way, I don't know if there's anybody who has that thing. There are people who are flashy. I mean,
flashy ain't commanding respect.
You know, but somebody will come and, like, especially because we've been through what we've been through in the past 2 years. I don't think they will. I mean, kuna ule aliambia ile kwa MP
so tuseme sasa Murkomen amefika place. Ameambia mse there's a KDF guy there. He's been told man this property. And then nani Murkomen amwambie, my friend Ibusonga, will the guy move?
But your army is different though.
Yeah.
You can, so with the army you can't, because I mean I've had a few whatever's with them. So if you,
what were you doing?
I was in Somalia with the army, like I was in Operation Lindainchi for like 38 days. So they are very key on rank, like captain, major, lieutenant colonel, brigadier, KKK. So you can't boss them around. Like if the chief of defense forces tells captain, simama kwa hii mlango na kuna mtu apita hapa, my friend, hata kama wewe ni nani,
you're not pita.
Unless you are now the commander in chief, who is now higher, now the president. But if you come there and you are loose Murkomen and nani wakwambia wewe songa, atakwambia bana, sisi boss, mimi nimeambiwa nisimame hapa, sasa itabidi ongea na yeye aniambie uingie.
Twende Burkina Faso kwa sababu commander in chief huko. Commander in chief, probably, like, I think after Obama, it's Martin Luther Obama and then this guy.
Who Traore. Commander in chief,
Martin Luther. After maybe Kwame Nkrumah, akina nani the guy before him, and then him now, right? I mean, this guy is so iconic. Like, black people around the world, like, he's bringing people together.
He's bringing people together. Apart from kitu ya kuchange katiba, ya extend presidency.
But I just want to say, ukisema kitu yote katiba in Kenya, it's sexual. Say it in English.
Constitution.
Yeah, there you go. The moment you just said katiba, I was like, whoa, what?
Katiba.
TZ is watching this going, like, kwani katiba
ni?
Inamaanisha nini?
Kwani ulikuwepo? So yeah, so there was like a thing where he was trying to change the constitution to extend the presidential term, etc., or remove it.
Yeah.
But other than that, based on the things he's doing, he's doing pretty.
So I'm curious to hear. So he mentioned that. So he was saying that this foreign countries, the embassies, they will fund anything creative, right? Like you're winking 100 winks per minute.
Right.
They will fund that creativity. But science, education, kind of things, they don't want to fund, right? He said that Africa is sort of, basically he's trying to insinuate that Africa is lost in terms of dancing, like we're just dancing in the internet rather than learning. And he says that same internet, you can learn how to like what Chinese people are doing, building houses, electronics, you know, science. But us guys were just dancing on TikTok. In fact, if he could, he would ban it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think he has a point. Maybe the delivery was whatever, but he does have a point. Because I think they do it deliberately. And I have no problem with funding creatives. I'm big. I mean, I love creatives. But I think, and there are still people who also, so you can't do a blanket. There are people who actually do fund science, technology, and stuff like that. But I think they should do it more. The only challenge with empowering from way back is if you empower an African child, an African with education, and now they know, and then they have, if you empower them, they always say empowerment then will lead to economic empowerment, which leads to some sort of freedom, and therefore now you can't depend on them to do things you want to do, because now if I'm free economically and my mindset is different, you can't really shove some certain things down my throat.
And that's what he's talking about.
And that's the thing, yeah. So in that part, I agree, because I think that over time there's been a deliberate attempt to not really dumb it down, but not fund the education. I mean, how can you, even in Kenya, in the 21st century, you have a budget for state house renovation at 800 million, but there are children sitting under a tree. What?
You ask TZ and Cameroon, because those ones are the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
In 2025.
Yeah.
Honestly, what the fuck does your president need a limo for? A stretch limo, kwanza.
Yeah.
Like, who's funding that? Unless it's coming from his own personal pocket, and we can be able to follow the money. It doesn't make any sense. This is that Cold War shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he has a point. I think that we should be more. And then again, you see some of these things boil down to being a leader, and that's why I'm happy that you have those standout leaders like him, who again, once again you become a leader, then you're propped up, and so you continue to live in that aquarium space once again. So now, any frailty you have will be picked upon and magnified because of that. However, at the base of it all, the change you're trying to make, it's important to have leaders like him, so that then you have a comparison where you can say, you can hold your own leader to a certain standard. Like, hey, if this person did this, then how come we're not there yet? Yeah. So definitely ask, because all it takes is for a specific leader to ask and say, these are my terms of the things I want. Right? You have your gold interest, because the countries will always have interest. You want infrastructure, you want this, you want GMO, whatever it is your interests are. What are we getting? I think they normally focus on what am I as an individual. What am I getting out of this? To build, protect my war chest for the next. But they fail to think about what the country will get. Yeah.
It's so crazy you mentioned that. Sasa tukuje Kakamega. We're going back to Ghana. Remind me, nataka tuongee story ya Ghana, because we talked about, us as young people getting empowered. And I'll tell you what toxic empowerment is. Let me write that down so I don't forget.
Toxic empowerment.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know whether this is what you call toxic empowerment, but let's come to Kenya. So Kenya, if you don't know, we are golden.
Yeah, we got gold.
Sisi sasa tunaweza jenga pyramid. We can now leave people things in their tomb. Sasa mtu anazikwa na watu na kigold
inside.
680 billion Kenya shillings.
Right.
Don't turn it into million. Don't turn it into dollars. Leave it in Kenya shillings so we can feel the weight
that has been declared. That's why I always say, whatever figure you're given there, just know it's more.
Wacha nikwambie sasa national language itakuwa Kiluya.
Unajua tuko na gold.
Bro.
Tuko na gold.
You know me, my shags is Kakamega, right?
Here we go.
My mom is in Kakamega.
Okay,
we were even just having a conversation the other day. I was just like, Mom, if guys are coming for our land,
wapatie.
Immediately.
Wapatie kabisa.
Sell.
Tuko na gold.
What are you talking?
Yes.
But we're only selling if it's in billions, right?
Because
we're right there. We're right there at the gold place.
At the gold thingy. What do you call it there?
What are your thoughts on this? I'd love to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts?
I think, so this is just my own, having, been around the spaces for a while. I think normally things like this go through process, because it's a very important thing to say, and it's a very delicate thing to say as well, because once you announce...
Does CS Paranya know that?
No, I don't know if he is aware.
Because it's so... is it you who posted? No, Daddy Owen, right?
Yes.
Run the team. And to be honest, I saw this. This was where my mind was at. It's quite suspicious, right? And I'll tell you what my suspicions are, but carry on.
So my suspicions is, first, I believe it's been there for longer. And what has happened behind the scenes is, because, I believe this is how governments and all these people work, is that they have to say, before to announce, there's like a going to press. Before we say that this thing is there, first of all, what amount are we saying? And then, definitely, by the time they announce it, there's already interest.
Wait, so inaweza kuwa more than 600?
I am 100% sure.
Yani tuko 1 trillion na mtu anatumia.
I am 100% sure it is more.
Okay.
I am sure. Just like when they also announced these consignments of Bangi busted worth 3 million, it is more. That is what has been reported. Condition. Yeah. I always believe. So I think that what we now need to be careful about, it's a good thing, for the people there, number one, we need to benefit the community. What does that benefit look like? And, let's not also go back to now again. We start doing 3-4 years, we start doing stories about child minors and all these things.
It's Kakamega. Prepare. Prepare yourself psychologically. It's going to happen. I know kids who have dropped out of school already.
To do that.
Like it's already a big problem in Kakamega. Like kids are dropping out of school in large numbers. Like, and then also, like, genuinely, unaniambia nini?
Yeah.
Unaniambia nini?
Yeah.
I'm going to a school where first the teacher, they like, sijaiona success kutoka hapa, right? Today you're telling me to go to school and our farm mama said there's nothing, right? And I can be able to utilize my time. No, Johnny, you shall go.
And the process is that. So unatambia uende shule, upate job, ndo upate pesa.
Skiza.
So now ujamaa anapata pesa hapa.
Nairobi, get into gold mining is a bit difficult, right? Why? Because mzae bado ndio ama madhe, whoever is in the house, uncle bado ana provide, or you're on the streets. But in Ushago, working, child labor is normal.
Right.
Even in the family, right? As soon as you can walk, you are sendable to the river, right? But that's for free. That's free.
Yeah.
Now you're saying this. I already know how to lift stuff. I can go to the mine. And nobody is stopping me.
Right.
Nobody is stopping me. What I'd pay a kid compared to what I'd pay a grown up, I'm not going to stop people, because these mines, like for example, they before this 680 billion one, it would be, and I visited some of them. Mtu tu anafungua, you are digging. Let me run the tape on one I saw in Kisii, right? This is for soapstone.
Right.
So basically, because I wanted to see how soapstone is in need mind. So this guy gives me a story, and he called his brother. They have the land. Called his brother, and his friend is like, "Hey, I want to dig a pit latrine. I want to build a house." And so as they're digging, guess what they found?
Gold.
Soapstone.
Oh, soapstone. No,
so that was the end of the house. Now it's a mine. Right? And his brother is like, shit, I don't know. He went and started digging. So their house is like their area. So that's the process of mines. People usually think it's like a dedicated area space, and then now this is the office called the mine. It is people's land where you are doing agriculture. Now people start digging because they wamepata inamanisha hapa kunayo. So that whole place is soon going to turn into a mine. Now,
and they've already even like demarcated it.
My biggest concern with that, right, is at this rate sitaipatiwa visa ya kwenda pale popote. Hii podcast nashinda nimechomea countries zote, right? China. China. DRC. As you're listening to me, Najwa, we watch things in different multiple devices. Kama unawatch kwa simu, put na later, they put a mental note, and then you can go and research. DRC right now, right? There is a cobalt mine that has collapsed. It has washed away a town, Lumumbashi. This isn't the first time. Zambia, a similar incident. Lumumbashi is the river, which has been, they're saying that it could mess the whole river. If you understand the importance of Lumumbashi to DRC, the one we're saying save DRC, right? That's a Chinese mine. Another Chinese mine in Zambia has finished rivers, right? In China, where their mining activities have devastated environments, devastated. When a river dies, it doesn't come back, right? Like we know the story in India. So my concern with mining is that I understand and I know how beautiful Kakamega is. I have family there, and I'm worried that give it 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have gold, and it's not going to be us. The mine is owned by. It's not a Kenyan. It's not money that's staying here.
That's what I was going to say. Like that's the thing. That's when you talk about the interests. I mean, look at how happy you are when we discovered oil look out. Oh, my scared tena story.
Bro, kwani mimi ni mtukanizi?
Tula talo.
Unajua tu ananusanga tu harufu ya mafuta lakini hajaiona.
You never like we discover things. There was a water aquifer, and I think it's also a thing about even just going back, and I don't know, was it Victoria Rubadiri back then when she was at Citizen? She used to do this thing about like, hey, like in case you forgot, like this thing was discovered, what's happening now, type of thing. I think we need more of that.
No,
because
even if you remind Kenyans, if you remind Kenyans, look at, just ask the average Kenyan. The information is there. You can find out what's happening with Tolo, right, and understand exactly what interests. Yes, it was mined. Oil is being mined, but how has it fed into our economy? And it pisses me off because when you look at countries like Botswana, right? When they discovered that huge gold diamond, the largest in the world, right? What did he do? He said, this is for us. It was getting into the economy. You know, it's going to feed into education. You can see the direct dividends of this stuff. Now they're talking about buying De Beers, although that's a very controversial, because they're saying De Beers like... Anyway, wanasemanga mzungu hawezi offload kitu kama haijaisha. Kama haija dead. Lazima ikuwe imededi. Anyway. Yeah, but so very interesting stuff. I can't wait to see. My prediction is that the average Kakamega resident is not going to enjoy the benefits of this gold.
That's now the sad thing.
And they're going to say, Makazi. Right? If you have gold in your region, is it jobs we want?
We want the money.
We want the money. Like, we should be able to see gold primary school. Gold in Kiswahili is? Dahabu. Hospital.
Yes.
Dahabu library,
technical university,
Dahabu museum,
yes,
right? Because Kakamega Munjes have a deep history. This gold should be paying for such stuff. That's what the governor of that area should be negotiating. But what I had the former governor of that area saying was that guys will need to move from their homes into affordable housing. That's a bit suspect.
Yeah.
And considering, I'll say it again, UAE is buying land where? Fertile agricultural land where? There's a case for about 200,000 acres. 200,000 sio ni Kenya yote?
Hiyo ni mingi.
No, I mean, nasema ni Kenya yote kwa sababu Kenya is semi-arid.
Right.
And arid in the northern part. 200 sio ni land yote?
Hiyo imeisha.
Anyway. Aya. Let's go to Ghana.
Yes. Ghanaians.
But would you raise your kids abroad? Mbona hujapeleka watu hii majuu? Sasa hauko na ati uko na job pahali uko locked down. Mbona hujatuma bibi majuu aende nini?
Mimi wangu wako hapa.
What do you think about moving to abroad?
You know, I used to be really fascinated about this, and again, and this is based on the fact of just because I'm the only sibling who is here. All my siblings are away, and I'm the last born, so I'm
wako stito? Wanafanya ice baby?
Now fully in the government.
You have to ukitoka kwa nyumba
here it is. It's so scary sad. Though. Yeah, so sad. So at some point, and even as I was traveling during my career, I was like, oh wow, okay, it will be interesting. And the reason why I wanted is because I felt like I think Kevin Hart and all these guys have spoken about it in some way, shape, or form. There was a joke he was talking about, saying how he does about 5 movies a year, but his neighbor is a YouTuber. I mean, and they're in the same hood.
Yeah.
And he was saying that this guy can make his money off of YouTube. So that's the only reason why back then I was like, there is merit. I can make money online and all this stuff, because also the CPM and all the costs are different than what it is here, etc. That is why I would be like,
did you think about for family? Because I feel like people who move abroad most of the time is about raising their family and giving their kids opportunities
and that's what I wanted to do as well.
Yeah?
But now those areas are scary now for kids. Like, especially now, if I take my kid there and then a baby on ice, for example, ama ashutiwe, ama discriminatiwe based. It's such a scary place. Especially then again, you and I mean, maybe it's going to change in the next 10 years. But if you're in a scary space where, you know, kuna ile place, maisha inaanza kugonga hii town.
Yeah.
But maisha imegonga hii wiki, acha niende home. You just get in a car, get in a mat, uende nyumbani. You know, you can always But now imagine you're in a foreign town. Yani by the time ufikirie hata tu ufike kwa airport.
Yeah.
No safiri. We talk about like
money.
8 hours, 14. Money, time. So, man,
it's a hassle.
That's the only thing that now I'm like, but opportunity-wise, world view-wise, you know, I mean, like, Japan, all these places where like a 5-year-old here and a 5-year-old in, say, Japan, Korea, and all these places in terms of what they're learning, coding and all these things, fine, that would be okay. Opportunities-wise, cool. But then I also start thinking to myself, what then can I do now in my small way to make sure that those opportunities are now starting to become available here.
Yeah.
That's not the challenge that I'm asking myself now.
I like that. I like that. If I was to raise a kid, honestly, I think it wouldn't be America, but I think it would either be like Japan. I think if you raise your kid in Japan, you've given them like
head start.
Head start. Yo,
Ako kwa relay number 2.
I'm your parent. Wait for me. Ako mbali.
Yes.
Ako ahead.
Yes.
Right? But kuna places ingine, I genuinely think about, are you taking Jaden where? Haven't you heard of knife violence? The UK. Honestly, from the stories I hear, I don't know whether I'd raise my kid there.
That's the thing. It's scary. Crazy. It's scary to be like...
You're looking outside the window, Jaden, stop hanging out with those gangsters. Jaden is like, I'm going to stab you, mama.
Yeah. But I'm getting your money, innit?
Yo, so anyway, so there's a toy.
Yeah.
And this story, I don't know, man, because it went to court. So there's a toy in Ghana who, of course, was raised in the UK. And his folks are like, let's go visit. You know where the story is going, right? So they got there. And then he realized, oh, snap. They're trying to leave me here. Run the tape.
18-year-old boy who tried to sue his own parents for sending him from London to Ghana to go to boarding school has lost his case. The High Court in London heard how his parents were worried that he was being groomed by gangs in London and feared for his safety, and moved him not as a punishment but to protect him. But the boy said his parents tricked him, saying that the visit was to see a sick relative. He told the court he's living in hell, that he's never been part of a gang and he wants to go back to his old school. But the judge said he was satisfied that the parents moved their child abroad out of love, and that the teenager was at risk of suffering greater harm coming back to the UK.
So what you're seeing here is the kid did not go down without a fight.
Yes.
He took them to court. He's like, his rights are being infringed on. So last week, the courts upheld the judgment and said the kid has to stay in Ghana. Right? What are your thoughts? Did the parents do the right thing? Or is it abusive? Imagine, this kid has been raised in the UK, live, like his whole life, but now he's been brought to Ghana. You know the way your parent keeps, like for me, it used to be, they tell you things like, when you're a kid, like if you mess up, they'll take you to the police station, or to Madare.
Yes.
Bro, I used to be threatened with Madare all the time. And then I'd be told that they'd even collect money. Oh, no, I could be having money here. They say, I don't know whether they still do when you take somebody, they give cash.
It's not good though. We are going through things.
Honestly.
But I think for me, again, it's different. One thing I've learned also now, as opposed to before, if you're a parent today, you'll quickly realize that your constitution and the way you do things in your house is really different from the way other people are doing things in their house. Yeah. Like, you would be trying to talk to people and thinking you guys are on the same page because, these are children and this. Nah. Lil Wayne says, we're not the same, I am a Martian. You
gotta lay the law.
And then you just have to be like, hey man, that's the way you have decided to be with your kids, and that's fine with me. So sometimes, depending on what's happening, I wouldn't take my kid from, because by the time, of course, I guess to use the word loosely, assimilated back in and the culture and all these things, it takes time.
Yeah.
Sometimes even for my own siblings, when they come back home, they are shocked at things that are happening here, even just system-wise. Even whether it is, even just transport system, for example, it's quite different. So
it's like even just taking a kid from Nairobi.
Yeah.
And then unapeleka kwa shule ushago, like let's say umetoa mtoi St. Christopher's, right? Alafu umempeleka Nyangudusu. Primary school.
Inside.
pali tu stima inazimwa 7 p.m.
Yes.
Or 9 p.m. or something.
Historia nani ya kuzima stima.
Githeri na mawivu.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, 90 protein.
That's a form of abuse.
To some extent.
For real.
And some people say that is true. And that's what back then, because I attended some what do you call it, sort of a talk. And there was Cambridge, Montessori, and all these people, and they're telling us about how boarding school back then, according to their research, was based on not really it's an option. It is more of, as a parent, I got so many things going on. Wewe ndo ufunzo na wase.
Yeah.
Wewe kaanga huko, let me deal with this stuff.
It's like a third parent.
Nitakuwa you go be raised by.
Yeah, go stay with the other parents.
And then I'll see you, because imagine you'd see your kids like 3 times a year during break.
You know what you're doing right now?
Yeah.
You're traumatizing someone who closing the kifika anaenda na walimu. Because the parents have literally
watch pale.
And January you're dropped in school and you only come home for Christmas. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing. But now these days it's different.
From class 3.
And that's the ulikuwa natolewa class 4. Sasa wewe umekuwa mkubwa uenda huko. And then now that thing why Nairobi to Shago was like, I mean, your woman is a soft life. You need to toughen up.
You need to toughen up,
toughen up. Toughen up kitu gani?
Yeah. Me, I chose it.
Yeah? Why?
I'm insane, that's why. I'm insane.
Me nilienda from Form 1. Yeah, but I was like, damn. When I was going to high school, I was already 100 kgs. Oh, yeah. By the time I was getting into Form 1, they thought I was a teacher because I didn't have sikuwa na uniform, nilikuwa na home clothes.
Yo.
So by the time I was going home, this is 3 months, I was 70 kgs.
70?
Yep.
Bruh.
My mom came on visiting day. She was like, what are they doing to me?
So
tulikuwa nakimbia cross country, you know, I didn't have I was used to, nibbling, watching TV, nibbling, nini hapo. 6 o'clock, chai. 10, uji. Lunchtime, 1, 6 p.m., dinner, then preps. And it's not like dinner for, I have some of that, I have some of that. Ni ugali, and you have 3 pieces of meat, na kamboga. Iko tu hapo tu. So since we used to be for months, sisi ulikuwa na serve, so ulikuwa naficha tu nyama papo chini ya ugali. Ugali unawekewa na plate, unatolewa hivi. Then nyama ndio unafanywa. Then boga.
It's crazy. You know, in boarding school, you see ugali and you're like, kwani hujui kuifanya kwa round?
Yeah, like
mbona hii ugali nipate nataka yenye imekatwa kama keki.
Like, ooh,
they chop for you that thing like a chapo kwanza, and then at least yours had decency to slap it like this. Kuna shule mtu anaishika kani inaitwaje, boomerang
na narusha hivi sasa wewe
uko sasa na sahani hivi tu, honestly. And you know, this is like colonial, it came from colonialist nini, because this is how they treat basically animals,
right?
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, what kind of a parent would you take your kid to boarding school?
Absolutely not. What
kind of a parent are you? Like, are you the one who your kid is never wrong?
Oh no, my kid is wrong on several occasions.
Like, if another parent tells you, huyo mtoto wako hamefanya hivi.
Well, it hasn't happened, but there's the basics. And that's why right now I'm trying to teach them more about and trying to tell them like you can tell the truth, and the consequence is not like, for example, if my son was in a fight, which he has been in, and he punches somebody, and then he comes home crying, naenda me punch me too, and then this the witness, my witness akuja say, no, your son is the one who punched this kid, and I ask him, what happened? He's like, no man, they're lying, daddy, they don't know. I'm like, okay, what really happened? Just tell me what's that. And then talk him to the point where he's actually comfortable to tell me like, I did it, but because he refused to share his bike and I felt this type of way, I'm like, okay, cool. So now I can't at that instant exact ile punishment kama wazazi, you just be hitting people up, baby, boom, that's how it feels to be punched. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? So because I have to make him know that there is value with telling me the truth and then discussing. So then over the years, there's a fundamental base. Like there are things that if you go and tell my mom, even today, anajua huyo ni Willis. Like that can't be Willis. At your Willis, first of all, for example, unajua mama Willis maana anapenda tu nilifika tu kwa home usiku, stima zote zilikuwa zimezimwa, hata like, first of all, you lying, because that boy afraid of the dark. Yeah. There has to be some light somewhere. So there are some basic things that you know of your child. Yeah, so if you tell me certain, like over the years, for example, if you tell somebody like, oh, this guy was rude, or he said this thing, or he talked back, I would like take it, he doesn't do that. And even if he did, let's find out why. So that's the type of parent I want to be. I want to be like, okay, let me raise these people in an environment where they can express themselves, they can do the things. And then I also realized that, by the way, over a period of time, like with my daughter, having this discussion with my partner, like, hey, guess, like, she's now learning, she's 3, but she's actually, over the years, she's Amandika, kila pahali kwa hiyo nyumba.
Na watu na ukuta?
Nazondo, but you see, sasa
the free will.
We had to realize, so we bought her, like, we took this, this stick-on blackboards. Yeah. You stick it on the wall.
Yeah.
So she would do that, but still, of course, occasionally paint out. Yeah. But then now...
She thinks outside the box.
Now, well, there you go. Now she's coloring. Her paintings are like, she's coloring in lines, and she likes, even YouTube, when I push, she says she wants to watch super easy drawings. I want to watch people drawing and painting.
Nice.
But we realized that over time, what used to happen to us was, unachora kwa ukuta, wacha kusema kitu, wacha fanya. So by the time that mtoto anaanza kugrow, anajua, the things that I want to do out of my free will that make me happy, nakatazo all the time. So by the time a paintbrush appears in their life when they are 6, 7, 8, they don't. Vis-a-vis, like your Japan, a kid onekana jaribu kufanya kitu mechanical, boom. Huyo atakuwa mechanical engineer, let's start them off on courses on that. Yeah. Let's start them off on coding. Let's start them off on all these things.
Mtu in Africa anashikilia waya anaweka kwa mdomo. Anasema, wewe unataka kujipiga stima, wewe.
Ndio hiyo.
Lakini sasa hiyo Jaden anajaribu kuwa mechanic.
Yeah.
What you say.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, like, can you imagine how Gen Z, millennials, boomers, and just everyone before this generation, where we're starting to understand, like, oh wow, we could be a bit softer, right? That, oh wow, parents just, like, I saw now a parent on Instagram literally saying, I created trauma for my kids. Right, and she's accepting that, the way I wasn't always necessarily a very pleasant person. Right. Like, how long it has taken me to understand, guy, kumbe African dads, it's not that they're bad, it's just maybe they had terrible bosses.
Terrible bosses, and like I said, they're winning off of colonialism. And
then also maybe the money was challenging. And then you have to understand that, like, say for example, Gen X, before the boomers were like the first dividends of, like, freedom. Right. They were the kids who were fast enjoying, like, freedom. So a lot of they were experimental just as much as millennials have been experimental in terms of, like, we're going to do Y2K. Okay, now we're going to do computers. Okay, now we're going to do social media. Okay, now we're going to do AI. Okay, now we're COVID. And millennials are like, guys, let's try this on other people now. We've tried a lot, right?
Like, actually, millennials have gone through everything.
Honestly, except World Wars.
Except,
don't be making boom. Danny John Alpha here. I think we're old.
Yeah. But I'm saying technological advancements. Everything has.
Pretty much, right?
From a phone to flying cars.
But think about, like, when I've seen, like, say, a boomer, look at how, like, Gen Alpha is open, like, the conversation. Right. And they're like, you can see, like, it's almost like you missed out on something. Yeah. It's almost like, damn. And you even find people sort of hyping the fact that, hey, us nowadays, you guys are too soft. It's like, sis.
Yeah.
You are shouting trauma.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, sisi tulikuwa tunachapa, tulikuwa wagumu. Nyinyi were soft. Is that something to brag about?
Yeah. Do you see anything to smile about?
But, like, you don't know otherwise. You know?
Yeah. You don't know otherwise, and you see, like, and then also, and it happens, like, even for, like, I remember when now again with my kids, even like, mtoto amelia, you went on to change diaper and you're chilling with this kid. Ni wako. But then I remember, like, at the time when we were home, and then, like, we had older folk, but then they're like, kwani mama yake ako?
Yeah.
Because in their mind, they're not used to it. Yeah. But the beautiful thing I've seen and I've watched over the years, now with my cousins who are now Gen Alphas and Gen Zs, and the things they've taken their parents through, they are very much responsible for the changes we are seeing. Like I could never pull up with this kind of hair in our house.
Yeah.
With a tattoo, ungeombewa, ungeitoa mapasta. Like huyu anapitia kitu ni mademoni. This is the spirit of rebellion. We must pray.
Yeah, but they like people will be so concerned with your hair, with your appearance, with and now.
But it's also because of their concern was rooted in again your deep-seated misdirection in terms of religion. 1, 2 was back then the jobs were, very formal and you had to dress a certain way.
This was the first time Africans were actually doing stuff, so it was very important to show up in suits.
Yes.
In
white collar.
Yeah, and now we're like, we don't give a fuck about. We don't give a fuck about that shit. Yeah, I was in a meeting the other day, and I was like, honestly, my set was a pajama, but it was very, very cute. I had accessories, like an outfit as long as you have accessories and you have lip gloss.
Was it like the one set? It wasn't a onesie. Yellow.
But I have traveled continents in a onesie, in a Fenty onesie, and I arrived. Because I was going to a place which was cold, and I was like, but then I didn't realize that we're going straight to the meeting, like to meet like heavyweights, and the first time I met Zuckerberg, I was wearing a Fenty onesie.
Well, like we met, he wasn't in a suit, of course.
It was my first time in London. I was
but he was like onesie. But alikuwa amevaa shati na
alikuwa amevaa hata ameput effort.
Nobody said I read somewhere. My friend Jimmy was telling me, Jimmy Mbogo, he was telling me that you got to be careful for the people who are wearing not wearing suits, because what have they done to earn the fact that they can be in a room full of people with suits, but they're not. Like I was looking at even Carol Radul. She went to headquarters of her company and she took a picture with the CEO. Everybody, it's an event. Like everybody's, dressed, Carol looking sharp and everything, gorgeous.
CEO.
Dude is in a t-shirt and a jeans.
That's it. Yeah. That's my full aspiration. So if you're watching,
that's my aspiration
so
too.
If you're watching this and asking, Komux, why are you half corporate alafu hapo chini magoti ziko nje? Because I had a presentation right before I got here 10 minutes late because I was at a presentation.
My dad would see this. You know what he used to say? He used to come and ask you, like, because he's not trying to be meme, like, so kwa you tell material Elisha.
I'm telling you, parents go to the same school.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I want to talk to you about something that is happening in your life, right? For the last couple of weeks, you've been actually, if there's one celeb who's not afraid to take people to court, it's you. And Obina. Obina the other day took someone to court.
And won 6.5.
But did he win? At this money is it ever given?
No, because of appeals. It depends. It could be given if the other party says, okay, we accept and we're going to appeal. And I think that's what, and not to jump the gun, but the reason why I think that even creators need to take these people to court is because they are they have lawyers on retainers, right? And they have all these things. So they use the court system to kind of wear you out. They're like, by year 5, 6, they're willing to play the long game. So for me, what I decided is that, okay, I'm not going to look at this as in, it's wrong now, what you've done. I feel it's wrong, it is wrong. The courts will decide whatever it is, but I will use every avenue possible. Because hata mi niko na luxury of time.
Lakini si hiyo ni pesa.
Let it take 10 years.
Unasi hiyo pesa yote unangangana na hao watu. Saa zingine si inakaa
It's but you see, there's a time one of the things that I think the former late Raila Odinga, one of the clips that were playing during that time, he said something. He said that sometimes you just have to do what is right, not because it's popular, but it's because it is right and you're doing it for posterity. And even if your current generation doesn't understand, maybe the future generation will understand, right? So for me, there are things that I've done, like this is right, this is my right that you're violating. So on the principle that it is right, I'll do it. I will take you to court, I'll do whatever avenue I can explore legally that are within the law, whether hata mkitaka kufanya arbitration, mkitaka kufanya mediation, or you just want to go full on court process, I'm going to do it. Because if I don't, then I'm teaching myself to be taken for granted. I'm teaching myself to not hold even myself to a higher standard. And if I can, they say if you can let go of something in one area, then it slowly starts creeping into other areas of your life. And I don't want that to happen. And
it's important. It's like, kudos, I have to say, that's definitely a step that creatives need to understand, that when you're signing a contract, why you need to involve legal is that it doesn't always go right. And when you're signing contracts, you're always in a good vibe, right? And that's, even with marriage, I always tell my friends, like, not in a bad way, but try and sign something. Why? Because when things are great, you're only seeing stars in each other's eyes. You're not seeing the shaitan.
Satan.
And I didn't know shaitan is actually a word in Islam. Until I saw the video for that, that imam. Satan!
Yes.
That's all you're seeing in this. But by the way, love is crazy. It quickly turns to, and so if you don't have those contracts, a problem. Same thing with creatives. Time and time again. But it's not just about signing the contract, because we know that there are people who don't even recognize the contract. There's no recognizing you with your contract. So I've had numerous incidents where people have taken advantage of my services, and like such crazy stories. I remember an employer I worked with called me for a project, said, give me your rate card. I share with them my rate card. They go through it and then they say, it's a go. Right?
Share where? Where did you share the rate card?
On email. Like, we do everything physically, right? So there you've asked for it, because I know, man. And then say, okay, cool, great. So I'm like, so what's going to be the system of payment? We'll pay per month. Right, so because you already work
based on your rate card.
Yes.
So do they negotiate on the law because of you already work here?
They didn't even negotiate.
Whatever.
Let's go, right?
Let's go.
And then did the project. So now we're at week 4, which is month 1. So I'm like, all right, cool. Here's my invoice, of course now. And then I get a call, like, yo, did you just add a 0? I added a 0. I'm like, what are you talking about? This person read -1 0. Like, they saw my rate card and didn't see all the zeros, right? And so now they're saying, and so my employer, one of the senior, sat me down and basically read the law to me and was like, where the company is at, this person made a mistake, right? So I have to tell you, like, and I'm being honest, because I know that a lot of creatives find themselves in such a situation. So when we see you doing this, it's like, okay, Willis, is it like kinda, we don't give a shit about working in future, because you know what it is. If you expose yourself like that, brands are going to be like, we don't want to work with that. Yeah. So for me, in that scenario, I mean, you can see this is my employer, right? Yeah. And the brand they're working with, I could have blown this thing. Right? But then I asked myself, Sheila, what are you trying to achieve? Like, is this something that you wanted to do? But you see, I've already done the job. Like, now we're on episode 8. Right? Wow. So I'm in, like, basically I've worked for less than what I was working for. Like, they've chomoda 0. A whole 0. Right?
So you could be like from 500 to 50?
Exactly. Damn. Right? All right. Then we flip to, when I was Miss Tourism. Yes. Right? I was dethroned. That's a story that a lot of people don't know.
What happened?
Yeah. Thank you for asking what happened, not what did you do.
Yeah, what happened?
So the brand owner, right? I don't know how to say this story without sounding toxic, right? So anyway, so I was chosen. I'm the Miss Tourism, and of course, every beauty queen, there's always a mission, right? Yes, while we're doing the project, you tell us, focus on your mission. I'm like, the only reason I'll be doing this is maybe for the mission. The modeling itself, the beauty queen, I don't give a fuck about it. But so then after a couple of weeks, we started to realize, so we're going to the office, like, hey, when do we start these programs? I'm ready to start giving out charity. So I'm ready to start my project, and we've gone and we've gotten funding. I remember we were on live TV on a Saturday during news time, and we are with a CS of communications who are at Nyayo House, right, where Telkom used to be. Yes. So Telkom was one of the sponsors. They've given us cash. Like, we're the ones who are standing there holding this thing, right? I'm wearing my beauty crown. And then a couple of weeks, nothing is happening. So I'm like, hey, baby, what's up? This Chums is to pay for the event.
Which event?
The one they paid the pageant.
Ah, right. What?
Exactly. You see how this is crazy, right? You see the craziness.
Yeah.
Bro, I was 21. Right? But then this shit, in fact, I don't even think I was 21. I think I was 19. This shit is still not making sense. So I ask, I'm like, but we said that these, like we were on TV saying like we've to collect. And you said, in fact, she told us in the car, like, guys, I can't even make this stuff up. Like, even talking about this shit is giving me PTSD, right? So we were in the car, like before we get out of the car, because we're Miss Kenya, Miss Tourism, Miss Youth, and Miss Global. And she goes like, when you go in there, just smile and look pretty. Don't say a fucking thing. Why? Because she doesn't want us to
commit.
She doesn't exactly right. She doesn't want us to fuck up her plan.
Yeah.
So now a couple of weeks I'm in her office and I'm like, hey, when do we start this project? She's like, nah, this project. What you talking about? Which project? This is for paying the Nini event that happened. I do events. That's unethical, right? Then guess what happened? That was like say Tuesday. The next week, Monday, I'm walking to the school bus. I was in USIU. So of course I'm doing doing the walk to the bus because I gotta catch a free bus. When I can, I'm walking with any pink slip into the Eldoret Express. Yes, I did it. I did it. I used that random pink slip for EcoBank.
Yes.
Because it's just like receipt yako iko wapi? Shout out to all alma maters, alumni. Anyway, I get to. As I'm crossing, there was a newspaper vendor who used to be at Nation Center. He's like, Sheila, umeona gazeti? I'm like, huh? He's like, pitia hapa usome gazeti. That's how I found out I was dethroned. And then she said, gross misconduct. My mom was so livid. She wanted to sue. But then I told her, Mom, trust me, I have a feeling this is not even a scratch of the surface of where I'm going. Fuck this, babe. Right? But you can see like as a creative, and I have a truckload of such stories, right? I have a truckload of such stories. If it was going back and forth with people, it would be just, I'd always been caught, right? Sometimes you look at, like that was just, she was out of line. She was out of line. She looks at herself as, I have all the salons. Everybody knows. You just need to Google and find out who she still owns the franchise. I'm not the only beauty queen that's spoken about this. Any beauty queen that would speak, she would dethrone you, right? And then she just, it's like it's her personal thing, my guy. She'd be like, Ati, what? That time girls have picked, and then she says, no, you Chomoka, now I'm going to put this one, my cousin, let's go, you're going to South Africa. And so this is how things are handled. There's not a single beauty queen that took her to court, right?
Yeah.
You understand why?
I do.
Right? So when we see you, we're like, where are you getting this?
What happens?
Kahunas.
Just dragging dinosaur balls.
You know?
I think for me, what I thought about it, and there's one I'm about to go into. It ain't over yet. There's just soon hapa tunaenda kuunleash ingine. But so what normally happens is I give time first. So like this one that I'm about to talk about, maybe the next couple of weeks or so or whatever. It could be tomorrow. I just said that 2 days ago I just woke up and I tweeted and said the little fear that I have. Hiyo ikienda ile kidogo tu sasa imebaki kidogo because kidogo tu hiyo ikienda, because you see sometimes when you're going against a corporate, remember there are your other fellow friend creatives who are working with them. Then they are interlinked, because sometimes what happens in this creative space, especially let's say for example you are in the let's use entertainment for example. You're in the entertainment industry, right? And then you have beef with somebody for just example's sake, at Homeboys, right? And you have beef with that person at Homeboys, but then they leave Homeboys and go to this other entertainment company.
They go with your beef.
Yeah, they go with your beef. So you're wondering how come this other company is not giving me gigs? But it's because same thing with media. Yeah, you raise a concern in one media house, but the person who is the boss here today will be like Linus was in Nation, he's now in Citizen. I mean, they move all around, and I'm not saying Linus has. Don't be coming for me, KK. But now that's the thing. But then you ask yourself, have I interrogated this thing and pursued this thing to its, have I done what is, first of all, personally, humanly possible? Then number 2, legally possible. Have I been in communication with them? Like, there are people who have been in communication with for a year, almost a year, following up on things like, hey man, I'm still willing to talk about this. Let's, despite all the crazy stuff they throw at you, like, oh no, you're not even legally, you know how they do, like what they were trying to do for Zuchu. So Zuchu, if you look at her caption and she was not paid, she sued, or else she mentioned the calf and then the agency.
Yeah.
So what normally would happen is the corporates hide behind the agency.
Yes.
So they say, oh no, you can't say that you have
because we don't have a contract.
Because we don't have a contract with you. You have your contract is with the agency. But
it's your event.
It's your event. But most people make sure, for example, your contract starts with a preface that such and such agency acting on behalf of this person. Make sure there is that part, number 1. Number 2, I was taught by other lawyers I've talked to, they always say that every lawyer hides something to benefit you, to benefit the person that joined the contract for in the contract. So now you have to have your lawyer to look at what he thinks is a thing that it could benefit this company that is not benefiting you. Whether it is payment terms, whether it is the way you can be terminated, whether what constitutes breach of contract or conduct unbecoming, your gross misconduct, like you're saying. That's
which is just it's nonsense.
Yes, it can even be saying
alikohoa vibaya na macho kama iko.
Yes, aliniangalia vibaya. Can you imagine? Like she looked at me in a type of way that makes me feel uncomfortable. So for me,
her voice is
or she raised her voice at me. So when I realized that I've done everything possible, then now I do what I always do is, okay, what is your worst case scenario? Okay. I'll be blackballed, for example. The industry will, like you're saying, clients who want to touch me and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, what will that mean? How am I going to survive? What's going to happen? Like, what do I have measures that I put in place that I can survive or not? Because sometimes when you're doing the right thing, and then sometimes it could also be you're afraid of making these steps because of the what if. What if it fails? What if I'm blackballed? But on the flip side, what if you're not?
What if you succeed?
What if you succeed? Yes. What if you, like when I went, when it was the Airtel thing, when we went and then I won, I was like, well, look at that. Then of course they have a right to appeal, which they did, and we have a right to appeal now, which we'll do. So it is, once you weigh these options and you realize that at the fundamental, it is about what is right. And because we can't understand what is right, let's try and take it to a third party to see what is right or what is wrong. But then you also have to understand what your power is, because the systems are crazy out here as well. So you just need to know right from the get-go, first of all, the basics. Also, what constitutes a contract? For example, there's a court that ruled, it wasn't in this country, but there's a court that ruled that if you text me and say, Willis, I need 500,000, and then I give you thumbs up.
That's a contract.
That's a contract. You know?
And in some spaces.
Yes,
even email. Even here.
And email. Yes. And then, you know, sometimes guys can say, for example, and I've been watching somebody who was a lawyer who was explaining how, like, even for work, that because you don't have an actual contract with this person for work, they can say, but hatuna contract, peleka police peleka, but kuna emails, kuna ka-mpesa kutumia, kuna, hey, I'm going to do this job for you, and this is what we're going to do. Oh, okay, so we'll be paying you X amount. So have everything documented also as well. And
especially the ones for payments. I think they said after, if like you've been paying for, I think a year or something.
Yes.
Like that constitutes an employer.
So for me, I was like, also, sometimes even in contracts, it should be like, hi, Willis, we're interested in KKKK. What's your rate card? You send your rate card. All right, let's go. That, in the court of law, you may not have signed, because, again, what they always do sometimes, and this is what I tell creatives, especially if you're dealing with a big corporate, and we do this a lot. So when you get your contract, and they send your contract to sign, so you normally sign your part alafu unatuma, and the times when umetuma na unalipwa lakini hujawahi ona contract. So we're like, but that's how they normally,
we're here for the money.
That's how we normally negotiate. Try as much as you can to have it brought back to you. Number one. Number two, try as much as you can to have your terms. Ndio wanaweza kuambia hapo, sisi hapa terms zetu ni 30 days ndio utalipwa. sawa, but hata wewe kuna terms zako. So mimi terms zangu ni before I work, we do 50%.
Yeah.
So how can we get to a place?
And it's important. I like that, you know, and it's important that people get to see this, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who, you know, even just this year, I had another incident with an agency, and a client that hid behind the agency, and then they poor communication from the agency led to me not ending up performing. Right? Literally, the day of the event, by 11 a.m., I still didn't have the program. And then they're telling me, by the way, now you can't do rehearsal because we tie rehearsal at 11 a.m. And so all these things, I'm not going to pick up the phone and say, hey, hi, client, you know what happened? We don't do that. We just work with the contract that's on the table.
Right.
And so after that, it's just like, no, you've contravened the contract. Let's move forward, right? And it's important that you tell young people that, as young creatives, and just any creative, because they were willing to come guns fighting, guns blazing, to defend their nonsense. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I tell you, the nonsense is huge.
The lawyer was ready, and I was just like, you know what, guys? And for me, just the fight just doesn't make any sense. But then you've used my name, you've promoted the event.
Now that's the thing.
You've done all these things.
Because, like, if I'm sitting home and I see you, I'm like, let me go.
Yeah, and we're not talking about just we're talking about a multinational, right? So you've used my brand, you've used a fucked up agency to come do the terrible work, and that's why, like, let me tell you, this gig taught me a whole lot of things. Willis, have you seen me emceeing?
Actually, no. Come think about it.
After that, it was a wrap. I was just like, nah. Yeah. I see you. I don't.
And you know what happened? Same thing for me. Because you mentioned multinational, I reached out even to HQ. Like, I've written to the base where these people are based, only for them to come and regurgitate the same thing. So basically, what they did, this lazy person called and said, hey, Niaje, nasikia kuna kesi hapa Willis anasema iko kunaendaje? Ati so okay. Then they write back to me the same thing this guy local said.
Yeah. So what we then realize is that you as a creative need, and I liked what you said, you need to have your own terms.
You need to have your own terms.
Like, as you're going into anything. Yeah. I mean, and this is so crucial, because when, you know, in a nation where, I was just doing a talk earlier, and I was saying, in a nation where almost 70% is under 30, right? There's a big pool of creatives. Big. The jobs, not so much. So the supply is more than the demand. Right? And with that said, the person who's giving the job wields the power. Or so they think. Because you're going in there just like, I'm just grateful to get a job, right? So even just to get the contract signed back, do due diligence to, you know, and even know whether this is something you want to be involved in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying yes to everything. Even by that one making it through, there's a lot that I've said no to, just by principle, you know. And then you still, even by the fail-safe, you still manage to have, even after putting systems, you still manage to have, what? How did this happen? And then, oh my God, if there's one thing I hate is mediation. Any contract I see mediation in it, I'm just like, talk up.
That was like a pow.
I'm just like, get the fuck out of here, man.
You know what happens with that? But for me, though, that helped me in another case that this one didn't get the public attention, but somebody was trying to take me to court for a contract stuff, and then they what do you call it? They tricked me into the mediation. So they set up a WhatsApp meeting. Hey, let's come and talk about this issue and kind of hash it out. You know, we're just talking among friends. But when I log in, the other side is on a lawyer. I'm like, how come you have your lawyer? You didn't tell me to come with my lawyer. No. We just talking things out. Only to go now to court and say, I had to find a mediation. The first thing my lawyer did was like, hey, this court has no jurisdiction because there's a mediation clause. Exactly. Yeah. And so sometimes it's
you can
good
imagine
and bad.
Exactly.
It's good and bad.
Let me tell you, Willis, you learn things as you go. Because from that, I remember even there's another thing we're doing with a lawyer, and I was telling him, where can you get to mediation? Where can you get to mediation? Because I can see how. So basically, as you're going to negotiate any contract that involves your craft, that involves your services, that involves you as an individual providing a service for a company, a corporate, or whatever, you don't go in there thinking that because you're talking to a human, that this entity is human. It's not. It's governed by like when it comes down to the contract, there's no friendship. They're not like those nice words you're looking at just the amount.
Yes,
like,
but
honestly, I'm just gonna be honest. I usually open the contract by angalia kwanza kama wamepata figure yangu correct, and then now I go back to check the details, and then now I give the lawyer now. Ebu chanue yo kitu. No, of course, first I work at ChatGPT, so I understand then what are the highlights. Then I send it to the lawyer. Nisikie notes zake kwanza, and then now we banter, and then now we know whether we are signing. But I got there because that's not how I was handling things before.
That's right. For me, the same thing. Like I've lost, and this one is copious. Like the amount of money that is Samikioko level, and I'm like, these guys are not even willing to do anything, you know. Look funny. Look who's calling. Coincidence, isn't it? So the thing that is shocking to me is the way, like you're saying, is true. You know, we as creatives, we are creatives. We are at different art forms, and we express ourselves, and so we have an inclination to you know, we get our name out there, kind of stuff, and that's okay for the initials. But as you grow, and when you will know the importance of having systems, and the earlier you have, the better. My friend Dana said always says, fight early. Wachanga wajuanga tu huyu from the beginning. Let them just know that Mimi, these are my timelines. This is the thing I want. This is how we do it. This is evil from the beginning. So if you don't do that, if you don't have, I see we pay after 30 days, or some guys even say 60 days. But then you know you're doing the business as you. Then also sometimes when now you have your company, remember you have tax obligations, you have things you're supposed to report, and they do too. So they are hiding, they're saving themselves. But if they really, really want to work with you, the same people who told me 30 days told other 2-3 creatives, oh no, you hata tunaweza kupatia deposit yako. Why? Because this creative asked. So ask. Then once you ask, don't just say ati baadhi walikubali watanipatia 50% kwanza. Alafu watanipatia. Follow up and have it in writing.
Yes.
Say that while the company 30 days, the arrangement, whatever will be done as follows. 50%, this, and then the other one, make sure there's a day and a time. Yes.
Because Peter, when they see your call, they don't know Ati Haya. Have you seen Ati Sujui? No, that's not the reason I'm calling you.
Yes. Even I had an artist at the event. Kuniambia Ati. So the event is at let's say the event is, what's the date today? All right, let's say the event is on the 12th of December, Jamhuri Day, and this artist, you guys have lined up some people. And then set your artist ni 1 a.m. Technically, that's now 13th. But your contract says 12th. So in case they don't perform or they show up, what they can argue and say, no.
It was 12th.
It was me, I was there at 12th. Ilifika midnight, sija perform.
I bounced.
Nika bounce. So, in the contract, have artists, unasema rehearsal at kwa hii day at this time. Performance itakuwa this day. Make sure mandika po 13th. The date of the event is this, but their set time is 13th morning at this. Failure to perform, aturudishie 40%. Vitu kama hizo lazima zikuwe kwa contract. Otherwise, those small technicalities. I remember when I was at Citizen, I was doing a show called Roadhog, and we were doing this politician. And so Roadhog was basically asked, if you make a mistake, we out you.
Mulika.
We mulika you plus your name, plus your whatever. So this politician did a wrong turn on Valley Road. And then I said that, look at this driver. No, look at this, driver. He does this. Then he proceeds to make a wrong turn. Then I said, the children say, shame on you. Then I said, the owner of this car is Flani. He's a politician. Do you know how he won the case in court? He said, In this same video, you can clearly see.
You're not on the wrong side.
That no, I'm not the driver. It was my driver who did the thing, not me. So these guys need to do an apology or pay me some money.
Yeah.
And we had to do an apology, and we had to now do a fine print there that says the driver. I used to say it very fast. Fine print said the owner of the vehicle is not necessarily the driver of the vehicle at the time of the commission of the traffic offence.
Terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions apply. So make sure you read the fine print of what it is in terms of, especially when it comes to payment, termination, those two sana. And then also what constitutes in the scope of work. Exactly. Yes. There's also another one where somebody was contracting me to do an event, but they've not specified what an event is, right? Yes. So what's the scope of work? We can say this is an event.
This is an event.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a podcast event. So it's so you have to really look at, and I'm glad you said your scope of work, deliverables, right? So unafika sangapi, unafanya nini, kama it's social media, 3 reels, 2 reels. What do you mean by unlimited stories?
I don't use such terminology. Even Oxygen iko na car.
Ndio hiyo sasa. So make sure you know 3 wheels, and then where are they? Is it TikTok? Are we doing a collaboration?
Just say social media.
If you say social media,
I'll tell you, open Threads.
Yes.
Open and OnlyFans. We want all social media.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah.
And you know what? I think I actually want to chime in and say, I think even for a young creative who's just starting out, be in the habit of just getting legal advice, right? Do not sign a contract without legal, and you'll be like, Sasa kwa mbuku tunatoa wapi a lawyer? I mean, honestly, there are so many people who have studied law who have nothing to do, right? Your friends who you studied in uni, utilize them, right? Talk to them. Use ChatGPT to understand the details of the contract before you go to a lawyer. Just what is this contract? What are the what is it insinuating? Right? Where would it trap me? Who is it facing? Because contracts are facing. You want it to be mid-facing, right? And sometimes, no, not sometimes. All the time, someone is writing a contract. It's facing, protecting the person who's giving you the contract. So why it's important, get someone to read it so that it's balanced, that they're protected and you are also protected. Because nobody is going to protect you. That contract is not there to protect you.
And you'll know when now you start, because sometimes, there's actually, when there's some work I did, and then these people actually said, in fact, you're making up this event, it didn't happen. In an age where you can just go and say, just Google, basically, and see, but man, this didn't happen. And then the common line, but we have checked our supplier list, and your company does not appear anywhere on our supplier. Of course, because I was onboarded through an agency. So, but lucky for me, there's an email from their staff saying, hey man, onboard this guy for this work. So now the thread begins there. But this, you'd be amazed at, and then remember, you are contracted by, say, the head of marketing or the head of whatever. That's one department. Then there's legal who'll draft up the contract. That's another department. Time ya kulipwa,
ni finance. Unaambiwa tu, and wewe chukue namba, ongea na yeye. This guy has never met you.
That's the thing. Now you are talking to somebody from finance who has so many other obligations they are paying. Sasa wewe umewekwa kwa, we are paying kwa box, na pia kuna mtu alituletea chai, pia kuna, yani I'm dealing from suppliers wote. Sasa uko kwa hiyo box. Sasa in their estimation they're looking at, okay, if we pay all, based on the money we have vis-a-vis what this person is asking for, and how are we going to balance the tax and all these things. Sasa unaweka kwa hiyo loop. Na unaweka kwa loop ya the internal systems and processes whereby they have, like, before umutu imfikie huyu, 3 approvals have to be done in the system. Then after you sasa watafutana sasa na CFO. So CFO sijui amesafiri. Amesafiri na asifa hawezi ingia kwa system tu aseme okay.
Na niulize, watu wa county wanalipwa wakifanya hizi events? Because I was just about to give advice here. Please, there are some people who honestly, unless you know you're just doing it for
free.
For in a will give you, when they tell you to do for free, they say
pro bono or exposure. Yes.
Apple, but if you're doing it for nini?
Yes.
Because me, when I receive a call there's a gig for I'm not available. I don't even want to hear what it is because I know saki kwanza kukimbishana na
so those are the things that for those ones, like if you have those kind of people who nashuku sana county government and government,
yeah.
For me what I would advise is fanya vile wasanii ufanya ile you're paid 50% and then on the day of the event sipandi stage bila kulipa full.
So unaona hizo mavitu that's the kind of stuff stakangi kufanya. You get because how like and you as a creative remember imagine if footballers right a footballer right anaenda pitch sawa amelipwa game doi sawa Gor Mahia versus AFC. I don't know what the dynamics are and I'm about to start purchasing a team a women's football team. Support me.
Nice.
You're about to go to pitch alafu manager anakuambia cheki deposit imewekwa like say Tuesday na game ni Saturday 50%. So I'm there at the pitch tunafanya prayer unajua ile national anthem na najua very well hii game ianzi kabla sijawekwa pesa kwa nini like now imagine that I'm shikling the ball the referee is then niko hapa.
Okay, for footballers it's different.
What I'm trying to say is as a footballer, if your mind exactly as a creative, as an MC, if my mind
is on the money,
is thinking about it, he has the deposit, I'm not going to be able to deliver. And for even like with the gig that I had to let go, right? We hadn't done sound check. It's 11 a.m. I'm willing to come, and now you're telling me. So in the process,
and then, for something like that, again, it's your name on the line, right? If the sound is bad, like Kwambox will Twitter event, Kwambox, I get what you say. Yeah,
you get.
Yeah.
So for me, in such scenarios, I'd rather.
So you'd rather just do like the.
I'm not doing it.
No, I'm saying like your terms would be like before this thing happens.
That's what I like.
Right?
I'm not 21.
That's the other thing.
Sitaki kukuwa na stress kwa sababu ya kufanya kazi. I would rather hiyo siku naenda kuuza nyanya. Wachana na hiyo kwa MC. Wacha niende nishikilie injili ya I have Bibles. Na inasimama kwa market na collect sadaka. And then I think I can be a good pastor. And I bring a different vibe. Unajua sawa washazoea hiyo. Dunia ishazoea hiyo. Sasa hii nawaletea injili in a different way. I'd rather do that than fight with somebody about just create like ni kama footballer amefika sasa kwa hiyo pitch tunaomba nasema mnaleta post ama post inaekwa sangapi.
You know actually that's nini because I've actually been with because I've worked with artists a lot and I've been with and I think
goal post inaekwa sangapi hapa sunasikia tunaimba national anthem right sneakers zangu zinaletwa sangapi hizo manini the nini it makes it but for creatives especially in this industry guys don't care man like whether the MC like they've planned the event from May the event is today. That's when you're getting the call today.
That's
what the fuck
you know
at that point you know what I tell you you're looking for an MC today. Wow, have you found? Are you still looking? Hey, I wish you all the best because you're not calling me at that time. How am I supposed to learn and start preparing, plan myself to succeed?
But you know why that happens as well is because I feel like also the corporates, and now when you say corporates, even the people in the corporate space, they don't understand what it takes for a creative to execute their craft. They believe that kuMC ni kuwing it, kuongea tu, you know, they believe that posting si una post tu, si una shoot tu content tu, you know, they believe that si unakuja tu unashika mic, si wimbo ni yako, you know, they don't believe in, hey man, I have a certain excellence to my craft and I need prep because I take this stuff seriously and this is my name and it's the thing that, you know, like when I'm there, the audience are going to watch, you as my boss is watching, my future boss is watching, I'm going to have to go back and look at this thing and critique it myself. So it's so much is on the line on this thing. So, and even if it's just applying a product, again, I have to give you
the best.
Exactly. Yeah, so you can't just show up and say, you know, that thing for nani mwingine, situpigia kwa box. And then, you know, if you said yes, that now the industry is so small.
Standard.
That's become the standard.
Yeah.
Oh, MC, piga kwa box. Last time we got me
Ali to save.
You don't want to be known like that.
You don't want to. And I urge every creative. I hope this conversation has been very, very edifying. Me and this guy, we can talk till next week. Like we have, all this wasn't even planned, but that's what makes. And I'm so grateful, Willis, that you finally agreed to come. We've been planning, and you have to come back.
I will.
You have to come back because I feel like what we're trying to do here is just have ordinary conversations with extraordinary information, so that many Africans young people can be able to understand and know what's happening. In the words of one of my favorite podcasters, Johnny Harris, is that the media right now has a lot of headlines which without context. Right? So if you're talking about all the things that, for example, we talked about, you've probably seen a headline, but not really gotten time to. And if you're watching the news, guys are not really chambuing these things. They're focused on who's paying, right? Luckily for you, this is an independent that cares. You're sitting with two independent media owners who actually care to share the real information. And speaking of media owner, before I let you go, of course, I want to tell us what you're doing with Wabebe.
Right, so Wabebe XP is, well, the phrase Wabebe used to be Wabebe! But now it's changed it because I used to have a lot of artists, people come and tell me, hey, Willis, you need post, you need your platforms, you need post what one you so post video yangu ipate some views. I'm like, okay, so let's build that platform. So that's what Wabebe is. Now it's a platform to amplify creators' voices, basically. And so we have, the idea is that to have your week covered. Right now we are Monday to Thursday in terms of content coming your way every day. We have a series, we have a cooking show, we have a show called The Vibe, where it's youth-centric and just talk. We have the countdown, we have the series, which is the drama series called Familia Alexis. So we have all these things that are there, highlighting, and then also we have the Wabebe Studios, which is which you can come, shoot your content, do everything. And then we also have something that's starting in January called the Wabebe Creators Academy, basically teaching creatives. Yes, I got the phone, but unajua lighting, unajua vile nafanya, unajua kutumia CapCut, unatumia what are you using for your sound, how are you recording, how do you set up, all those kind of things. And then also not just for creatives per se, like creative, but also those like, these days you have medfluencers. Yes, you're in the medicine field, but you're in the legal field, you want to break down jargon, how do you just shoot and set up and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. And but it's hard though, I'm telling you that. I think being an entrepreneur is it's intense. And you realize that back then people would throw figures at you, like even in your red card. Now when I look at my red card, I'm like, hey, hii red card yangu inaweza lipa. Inaweza lipa ABCD. You look at it like somebody tells you, hey, Willis, man, nimekuwa mana nitumie 50k, like, hey, 50k, unajua kitu naweza tumia nayo kwa biashara yangu.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And then also just the tax and all these things. For me, I mean, I've sold my cars for this. I've had to get to a point where I think when you have the vision and you realize you are, a word you've taught me, multi-hyphenated, that you are the CEO, you are the marketer, you are the proposal writer, you are the you are the sales and marketing team, you are the brand manager, you are the social media. So I'm having to learn to delegate, and it's tough for the people I'm delegating to give them, because I'm like, you can't now come and tell me that I wasn't able to do it, and Mimi with my 6 things, I was able to do it and do it flawlessly. So you can't now come and tell me, imagine, sijui traffic. Like in Nairobi, my boss used to say, it's not breaking news. There'll be traffic in Nairobi tomorrow. Know this. You have traffic and travel. Every radio show
still happening.
Yes, has traffic updates. Yeah, so traffic will be there tomorrow. Will be there the other day, unless it's something like crazy, like there's an accident on your route or a car breakdown or somebody sick. But communicate. So for me, having to do all these things now, I'm in a place where so somebody's gonna have to do that. Oh, sasa nitawacharge. Nimekupatia, but nimekupatia uifanye, it's 12 hujaifanya. Si basi niifanye tu.
But what do you think, why do you think that that happens, that you already know, and they've come to you, they said, look, I'm looking for a job.
Right.
But why do you think that happens where now you're still motivated and they aren't?
I think it's because so if you have the vision, you are seeing your present and you're seeing what could be. So you have an end goal in mind, right? So for them, first of all, coming to work for you, their end goal is end month.
Just that's as far as
yes, or end of this gig in Iliponi and Zango. So not many of them are thinking where this could go. They're probably saying, I'm going to give myself like maybe 1 year with this guy and then probably learn and go somewhere else. But you are thinking in 1-2 years, I want to be so big that I need to I want to add people. So your visions are not the same. That's number one. Number two, you know that for you to get there are decisions you have to make now, and there's a process to it. Now that process is not always easy. It's hard. And so, but because you have the end goal, you're willing to put in the work, and I'm willing to go the extra mile and do this thing. For them, they're like, okay, I have this job, but see, I can get another one. I can do something. Yes, but for you, this is your plan A, B, C, D, E, F, up to Z. You have nothing else in between. It's either this or this. So for them, they have options. So it's, and that's why what I'm now learning to do, because I'm being taught some by guys from Baraza Media, and they're helping me. And one of the things they help is like you have to have like an organizational culture that part of your induction to the team members is like, so this is what we stand by. These are our values. This is what I want us to be known for. Then these are my values. Like I want you to, whether it is like, communication and what that looks like. And even if it's uneasy, like if you're not going to come, tell me. Nikikukol usiniambie, ndo mimi.
Ndo mimi nimefika.
Niambia tu boss, maze guy, imagine ndo nimeamuka. So give me like about an hour, 2 hours, I'm going to be there, but I'm so sorry. Instead of, ndo mimi, traffic.
Do you know, I was sitting with a guy who hires a lot of people.
Right.
And he said one of the things with his company, and the company is doing quite well. I think they just did their first, I was reading, they just did their first round of profit last year.
Nice.
At billions.
Oof.
So anyway, so he was saying that in his company, they don't like this thing for nani alifanya. For my international viewers, that I don't know whether it happens where you guys are. Like, I think it comes from how you are raised as your parenting, that it was always about show me who did the mistake.
Right.
Why it was so important, nobody understands. But in a work environment, he says that that's the last thing you want to bring to the table, because you want people to be forthcoming and just free. And one of the things that holds them back is that idea of, I don't want to say I did it, I made this mistake, because that's the standard I'll be held on, right? Like it's more, we focus on the mistake rather than let's just get past it, because what does it cost us now? It's like, niwewe. So like give you a stink eye.
And like
are you so I've been running my company for like 15 years now. And wow, this is the real school. This is the real school. I've worked with different types of people, and I've learned about myself more than anyone. Right? There was a phase where, shout out to everybody, there's so many people who have worked for me, including Chaksi and so many other amazing people who are doing amazing things. And I'm a different person now than I was, because I remember there was a time I was just I was so on the edge, like it's because I didn't I'm passionate about this thing, and not everybody's seeing the vision.
Yes.
I'm all in.
Yes.
All in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all my salary is going to this thing.
That's right.
Like this is, like the way people have drugs, there's another person their thing is alcohol, another thing Kenyan Sharati. Mine is my vision.
Yes.
If I wake up and I want to do this, I'm gonna put all my money in that
That's
thing.
right.
So I was like, nilikuwa mtu sikuwa mtu mfiti. Like I was a nice person, but like if you worked for me, like I'd be looking for mistakes. You get like, how did you not do it? Like me, I've been running this thing before you came.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But then over time, I started to now pinpoint that, wow, this is my personality. Like my first point of contact is like angst, like
anger.
No, it's not even anger.
Like, do you feel like now in hindsight? Do you feel it was coming from a point of like you're saying? Yes, you have the vision and. It's like you guys are not seeing the pressures I'm going through, and therefore let me.
Bro, I'm all in.
Okay.
But what has that got to do with the person that was working for me? Nothing, right? Yeah. So over time, I started to realize that you're gonna alienate people. People love working with you. They love working for you. The vision. But then it's not worth it in the long run because they can't keep up with this impossible. And I set impossible standards for myself. Like I'll start something today, and I expect myself to be a master
at it,
right?
Yes.
And so I've over time learned that I have to go step by step. So I wouldn't give people that were working for me that space to be able to breathe before they get into me. I'm just like, you said you can do this thing, right? But yeah, so running for me, what I'd say my journey for entrepreneurship, it's taught me about myself. Like
I've had to look at the mirror myself a couple of times, and even just your relationship with money. That has also been something like how you see it, what it's used for, where it comes from, how it's gotten, and like I was telling, like these days, you kind of look at things in blocks. You see, like same guys, people who are building. If you say, hey, when I come back straight career, 500K, like, hey, unajua bags ya smith na your stuff. You know how they. Yeah. So it's the same thing that happens, and then so. One of the things I've learned now is a lot of patience because it's the same thing. Having done all these things, then somebody comes and, patience and that people are different. So in the organization, there's somebody who will respond to, hey man, if you don't do that thing, man, we're going to have trouble. Then the other one who'll be like, okay. Yes. Then I said, so what's going on? How come you've not, this was the deadline, how come you've not gotten to this place? So what I'm learning is, at the basis first to find out, because there are times that I've had somebody, a friend of mine, because we were at a co-working space, and she was calling this guy off the hook. Man, you said you're going to deliver this thing, calling, abusing him on text. Only for the guy to call like at 3 p.m. and say, yo, man, I'm so sorry, man. My kid has been unwell. We're actually in the hospital. You know the sinking feeling. My rule is always call me twice. If I don't pick up, I've seen your call. Even if you call me 7 times, it's not going to work. Or if it's such an emergency, text or WhatsApp.
Yeah, what's up with people and just not dropping a text?
Just near me too. Yo, can you kind of call me back? There's this thing that's happening. I need to do this. So I've learned people are different in terms of what people respond to. Then I'm also different, and sometimes I have to catch myself not to project my ideals and my norms on people, even up to religious beliefs, man, or just beliefs in life in general. Because sometimes somebody will be there and they have a certain belief about something, and you're like, but that's okay because that's what they believe in. That's them. That's who they are as a person, first of all. This is who they bring to the table. And I personally have, with my rightness, what has that got to do with their wrongness? And then who told me that what they're doing is wrong? See that question you asked me in the beginning about how come you formed these opinions based on, you've watched a lot of international media that's predominantly American, you formed an opinion about Russia. We do that the same thing with life. General, we have religious things that people have told us, not that we've even read for our own, that we now make assumptions on. We have
base a whole life on.
We have societal patriarchy beliefs, strong chokeholds on us that don't even work on us anymore, but we are holding on to them. Now we project that on people. So I've had to catch myself so much like, that's just a different view, man. And this person is such an awesome person. Anyway, why am I going to rob myself of this person reaching their full capacity? Because again, as a vision and as a leader, your aim is, like you're saying, to have somebody like, oh man, look at Chucks, look at what he's doing now.
Yeah.
And to Peter come, I'm not also trying to hold you here, lock you down to be, oh, look, employee number one, so we are locked in for life.
For life.
Beef.
No.
So to be able to, it's sort of a psychology. You're learning yourself, you're learning these other people, you're able to let them go, you're able to see them fly, you're not challenged by their awesomeness, like, hey, shine. Also, let's not do that. No, the more they shine, and I've done this, I mean, even as I was working with other people along the way, I remember the first few times I even met MC Gogo, for example.
Yeah.
I knew, like, he used to shadow me as I go and do gigs, like we knew him in the cartoon, and Nokos Nakuru, Nini is introducing. I would sit back and watch this guy, I was like, this dude, I won't say he got some. So sometimes, like, I remember when I was at another station and guys would tell me, why you keep on giving these guys platforms? I want to come out to outshine. I'm like, I really do hope when they outshine.
Yeah.
Like, then it's going to be great. Like this, and also, you know, like gatekeeper mentality.
Yeah.
So let's say I don't give him the opportunity.
But like, unajua, Willis, as we wrap up.
Yes.
Unajua, not so many people wako na hiyo roho. Unajua hivyo?
Najua.
Yeah. Because I, as somebody who's worked extensively in the music industry,
right,
I always used to say that the problem with Kenyan music is that hakuna, unajua hata familia inakuanga na grandfather, father, child, you get? There's nothing like that. Everybody is the grandfather. Everybody is the godfather. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for you to have a family, there has to be hierarchy, right? You have to pay homage to, you know, you have to create space for new ones. You've opened a room, give room to the young ones. Right. Like every iconic or OG artist needs to, well, I don't tell them to search themselves. I've already searched. I already know, right? Show us your people. And you can't say atina mentanga, not sema ile yenye, you know, like, there'd be no Drake if there was no Lil Wayne. There'd be no
Nicki Minaj,
there'd be no Lil Wayne if there was no Birdman.
Right.
Birdman was a rapper.
Right.
But forget what he's doing right now, but he's a rapper. Yeah. Right? And then once he opened the door, he then brought in a bunch of people who then created something.
50.
And then we don't have that here. That's why it ends up being competition, right? I shout out, for example, all the MCs in the space, like Aziza, you know, who's doing, shout out to Aziza, who's doing fabulous stuff internationally. And you see what she's doing. She's opening new territories, right? So I'm very excited. When I see her doing this, I know that, I can't wait. Like, if you think Aziza is breaking the mold, wait till you see the next one, right? And where she will be emceeing the Grammys. You get what I'm saying? So it's exciting for me when things like that happen, and you want to be able to pull hands over, all the kids who are coming up. Yeah. But then you can understand that it's not easy if you're insecure.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's why you'll have conversations if you pull them up, like, won't you be competing? And for you to be secure enough to know that the pie is so big, if I'm still eating this goddamn ugali tomorrow, man, starve me. Yeah. I want to be able to eat cake tomorrow. Right. So let me leave this ugali for the kids, right? Let's go look for lasagna and then call the kids, it's now time to eat lasagna. You get what I'm saying? That doesn't happen often. So
that's the thing, and that's why I'm also excited about, like, yourself, myself, and getting into these spaces, because then what happens next is, like you're saying, even with Aziza, the only way you know it can be done is if you see it being done. So if we get this right, what we're also doing, part of the reason why, again, we take it so seriously and is because we know what it means to the industry. Because again, we're in an industry that is predominantly, or used to be predominantly, fashioned and geared towards legacy. And the way those systems operate. But now, even they are having to be like, there's a book I'm reading called The Blue Ocean Strategy. I talk about it a lot, where the red ocean is competition, because basically we are different boats in that place and we are stabbing each other so much behind the back that now there's blood, hence red ocean. Then the blue ocean is we are in collaboration. I don't have to do everything. I can have at the back of my head, I'm like, okay, so I've gone to this place, I've gone to this foundation of these people, and they're saying like, we need you to do this scale of a job. And then I'm like, man, okay, I can do it. Now, the OGs would be like, I'm going to take all this money, keep it to myself. Yeah. But I would come and say, okay, you know what, for this part, nobody does this like Box does it, so let's give it to her. And now, even at the back of my head, you've mentioned a meeting you're with, you know, so I could say like, if I need anybody who works with that group of people and something, let's give that there. Yeah. And that way, as you collaborate, you realize, and you know, the international markets are doing it. Comcast will be a version of a telco here. Bought like a big stake in a TV and a production place. Disney and all these people, their whatever's notwithstanding with Jimmy Kimmel, they still, so Disney was making cartoons and now has come and bought this station because of the money they have. So that's the partnerships are starting to happen. Yeah. And once they finish there, and the market is saturated.
It's already saturated. It's here. It's right now. It's here. And I don't know why you said when. It's if. It's when you succeed and look back at this 20, 30 years from now. Right. I can stand on 10 toes and say that Wabebe is definitely I know what your vision is. I know how passionate you are about the arts and youth. Don't worry, we're going to be talking a different story. Yeah. I hope God will give us life enough for us to be able to then discuss at that point the impact.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Willis. And you know what, before you leave, could you just slowly tell us the name of the book?
Oh, the book. Yeah. Where is it? This one. The name of the book I'm reading? Yeah. It's called The Blue Ocean Strategy. You can read the book. You can search it even on the YouTubes. Search it. You'll find there are two authors, and they talk about it. They break it down. It's more about competition. No, it's more about collaboration and not competition. Even if you go to ChatGPT and just say, tell me about the Blue Ocean Strategy, it will break it down. Then you can say, tell me in relation to this thing I'm doing, and it will break it down for you. Nice. It's an amazing book.
But just remember what we've discussed. AI hallucinates. Verify.
Right, verify.
And on that note, kapow! Susame wa bebe.